Good afternoon, and welcome to the Joint Base San Antonio, Fort Sam Houston's monthly retirement ceremony, hosted by the Regional Health Command Central. The host for today's ceremony is the Commander of Regional Health Command Central, Brigadier General Sean K. Bagby. The co-host is the Command Sergeant Major of Brooke Army Medical Center, Command Sergeant Major Thurman L. Reynolds. Please stand for the playing of our national anthem and remain standing for the invocation given by Chaplain B. D. Akers, Jr.
Please join me in prayer. Almighty God, you have been the faithful deliverer of your people in this earth-shaking event of human history. Come to us now in those lesser events of our personal lives and lead us to victory and joy. Please be with our leaders here and throughout the world. Blessed is the leader who knows where to go, why to go there, and how to get there. Blessed is the leader who knows no discouragement. Blessed is the leader who knows how to lead without being a dictator. Blessed is the leader who leads for the good of the most concerned, not for personal gratification. Blessed is the leader who develops leaders while leading. Blessed is the leader with his head in the clouds and his feet on the ground. Blessed is the leader who considers leadership an opportunity to serve, like our retirees have done. Help us to live the 7 Army values of loyalty, duty, respect, selfless service, honor, integrity, and personal courage. And we are thankful for our leaders that are retiring today: Colonel McCullough, Colonel Seabold, Captain Gonzalez, First Sergeant Trebillo, Master Sergeant Peachy, and Sergeant First Class Phillips. They have given the United States Army over 167 years of exemplary service, including their 9 deployments. Thank you for their sacrifices and their family sacrifices: Brenda, Brendan, Christopher, Wendy, Paul, Isaiah, Jasmine, Angelica, Ebony, Juan Jr., Roland, Christina, Nicholas, Carmen, Helen, Nicholas, and Lilo, and the rest of their families that have endured in many PCSs, separations, missed games, birthdays, and other special occasions. We know that leadership characteristic pleases you, and we ask that you help them as they transition to the next stage of their life, retirement. In your holy name we pray. Amen.
At this time, the Brooke Army Medical Center Command Ceremonial Honor Guard will perform a flag-holding ceremony, a special tribute to our retirees. Please be seated. process results in the flag being folded 13 times. You may have thought this symbolized the original 13 colonies. However, each step has a separate and very distinct meaning. The first fold of our flag is a symbol of life. The second fold represents the 50 states of the United States of America. The third fold is made in honor and remembrance of the veterans departing our ranks, who gave a portion of his or her life for the defense of our country to attain peace throughout the world. The fourth fold represents loyalty. These are times that try men's souls. The summer soldier and the sunshine patriot will, in the crisis, shrink from the service of their country. But he that stands by it now deserves the love and thanks of that of man and woman. Thomas Paine. The fifth fold is a tribute to our country, or, in the words of Stephen Decatur, our country, in her intercourse with foreign nations, may she always be in the right, but right or wrong, our country. The sixth fold is for where our hearts lie. It is with our heart that we pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The seventh fold is tributed to our armed forces, for it is through the armed forces that we protect our country and our flag against all her enemies, whether they be found within or without the boundaries of our republic. The eighth fold is a tribute to selfless service. Ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. John Fitzgerald Kennedy. The ninth fold is a tribute to womanhood, for it has been through their faith, their love, loyalty, and devotion that the character of the men and women who have made this country great has been molded. The 10th fold is a tribute to the Father, for he, too, has given his sons and daughters for the defense of our country since he or she was first born. The 11th fold is inscribed on the Statue of Liberty. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses, yearning to breathe free. The wretched refuse of your teeming shore sends these, the homeless tempest-tossed to me. I lift my lamp beside the golden door. The 12th fold represents equality. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. The 13th and final fold is for when the flag is completely folded. The stars are uppermost, reminding us of our national motto, "In God we trust." After the flag is completely folded and tucked in, and takes the appearance of a cocked hat, ever reminding us of the soldiers who served under General George Washington and the sailors and Marines who served under Captain John Paul Jones, who were followed by their comrades and shipmates and the armed forces of the United States, preserving us the rights, privileges, and freedoms that we enjoy today. The flag is a true emblem of our unity, power, and purpose as a nation. Accept it, protect it, and be ever mindful that the young men and women you have trained, led, and inspired throughout your outstanding careers will follow in your footsteps and defend this flag with equal pride. Today, we pay special tribute to 6 soldiers upon their retirements. The retirement ceremony is an old and time-honored tradition. In days gone by, when a soldier retired, their entire regiment turned out to honor them with a farewell review. Joint Base San Antonio, Fort Sam Houston continues many of these customs today. During the ceremony, each soldier will receive a number of items: a United States flag, a Soldier for Life lapel pin, and a certificate of retirement which reads, "From the Armed Forces of the United States of America, to all who shall see these presents, greeting. All retirees, having served faithfully and honorably, are retired from the United States Army. Signed, James C. McConville, General, United States Army Chief of Staff." Including a certificate from the Commander-in-Chief, which reads, "I extend my personal gratitude and the sincere appreciation of a grateful nation to you for your patriotic service to our country. Your bravery and dedication in our armed forces helped protect your fellow Americans during a critical moment in our history and contributed to a world of greater security and growing prosperity. Your devotion to duty, honor, and country, in keeping with the long traditions of the finest military in the world, embodied the American ideal of selfless service. Our nation owes you an incredible debt. Your commitment and the example you set will inspire future generations to serve with pride and keep our country secure. You represent the best of our nation, and I join our fellow Americans in saluting your honorable service. I wish you happiness and success in your next chapter. Signed, Joseph R. Biden, Jr., Commander-in-Chief. Spouses will receive a certificate of appreciation from the United States Chief of Staff of the Army. The certificate reads, "To all who shall see these presents, greeting. On the occasion of the retirement of your spouse from the United States Army has earned grateful appreciation for your own unselfish, faithful, and devoted service. Your unfailing support and understanding helped to make possible your spouse's lasting contribution to the nation." Signed, James C. McConville, General, United States Army, Chief of Staff. All children will receive a BRAT Certificate of Appreciation. BRAT stands for boldness, responsibility, adaptability, and tolerance. The certificate reads, "For distinguished and steadfast support of your father or mother upon the occasion of his or her retirement from the United States Army, your understanding, patience, and enduring his or her many absences, and your family's many moves underscore your own selfless service and sacrifice to our great nation. Missed birthdays, holidays, school, and sporting events are the price of life as an Army family member. For this you can be justifiably proud. We are all proud of you. Thank you for all you have done and will continue to do for our nation." Signed, John R. Evans, Jr., Lieutenant General, Commanding. Will Brigadier General Bagby and Command Sergeant Major Reynolds please come to the stage? Headquarters, the Department of the Army, Special Orders, by order of the Chief of Staff, United States Army, General James C. McConville, the following personnel of the Department of the Army are retired. Colonel Alex Arthur McCullough, Jr., retires after 34 years of service. At the time of his retirement, he served as Deputy Chief of Staff, G1, 335th Signal Command Theater, East Point, Georgia. Colonel McCullough receives a certificate of retirement from the Chief of Staff of the Army and a Soldier for Life lapel pin. for his 34 years of faithful service to the nation and the United States Army. Mrs. Brenda Tracy McCullough receives a certificate of appreciation from the United States Chief of Staff of the Army. Children Brendan E. and Christopher A. received their BRAT Certificate of Appreciation. Retirement, Colonel McCullough and his family will make their home in San Antonio, Texas. Our nation proudly salutes Colonel Alex Arthur McCullough Jr., United States Army, retired. Retires after 30 years of service. At the time of his retirement, he served as Etlo, Arizona, Region 9 Defense Coordinating Element. Colonel Siebel receives a certificate of retirement from the Chief of Staff of the Army and a Soldier for Life lapel for his 30 years of faithful service to the nation and the United States Army. Mrs. Wendy T. Siebel receives a certificate of appreciation from the United States Chief of Staff of the Army. After retirement, Colonel Siebel and his family will make their home in Mount Carmel, Illinois. Our nation proudly salutes Colonel Clinton C. Siebel, United States Army, retired. Captain Ashika Marie Gonzalez retires after 23 years of service. At the time of her retirement, she served as Division Sustainment Brigade Assistant S3, Fort Bliss, Texas. Captain Gonzalez receives a certificate of retirement from the Chief of Staff of the Army and a Soldier for Life lapel pin for her 23 years of faithful service to the nation and the United States Army. Mr. Paul Gonzalez Jr. receives a certificate of appreciation from the United States Chief of Staff of the Army. Children Isaiah and Jasmine received their BRAT Certificate of Appreciation. Marie Gonzalez, United States Army, retired. First Sergeant Juan Trebillo retires after 32 years of service. At the time of his retirement, he served as First Sergeant, Headquarters and Headquarters Company, 123rd Brigade Support Battalion, Fort Bliss, Texas. First Sergeant Trebillo receives a certificate of retirement from the Chief of Staff of the Army and a Soldier for Life lapel pin for his 32 years of faithful service to the nation and the United States Army. Mrs. Angelica Trebillo receives a certificate of appreciation from the United States Chief of Staff of the Army. Children Ebony and Juan Jr. receive their Brat Certificate of Appreciation. First Sergeant Trebillo and his family will make their home in San Antonio, Texas. Our nation proudly salutes First Sergeant Juan Trebillo, United States Army, retired. Master Sergeant Brittany Peachy retires after 20 years of service. At the time of her retirement, she served as Senior Human Resources Sergeant, United States Army South G1, Fort Sam Houston, Texas. Master Sergeant Peachy receives a certificate of retirement from the Chief of Staff of the Army and a Soldier for Life lapel pin for her 20 years of faithful service to the nation and the United States Army. Mr. Roland Peachy receives a certificate of appreciation from the United States Chief of Staff of the Army. Children Christina and Nicholas receive their Brat Certificate of Appreciation. Retirement, Master Sergeant Peachy and her family will make their home in Cibolo, Texas. Our nation proudly salutes Master Sergeant Brittany Peachy, United States Army, retired. officer in charge of the Healthcare Technical Maintenance Section, Fort Hood, Texas. Sergeant First Class Phillips receives a certificate of retirement from the Chief of Staff of the Army and a Soldier for Life lapel pin for his 24 years of faithful service to the nation and United States Army. Staff Sergeant Carmen Phillips receives a certificate of appreciation from the United States Chief of Staff of the Army. Children Helen and Nicholas Phillips and Lilo Swanson received their BRAT Certificate of Appreciation. Retirement, Sergeant First Class Phillips and his family will make their home in Seguin, Texas. Our nation proudly salutes Sergeant First Class Gregory Phillips, United States Army, retired. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce today's guest speaker, the Commanding General, United States Army Regional Health Command Central, Brigadier General Sean K. Bagby.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. How are you? Good afternoon, teammates. How are you doing? That's what I want to hear. This is a joyous day. It's a day we should be celebrating. I love events like this because for those who are not familiar with our customs and traditions, you know, the flag ceremony, the official welcoming and thanking of folks for their service is part and parcel of what makes our Army and the ability for us to serve our nation different than, say, working for a corporation. It is the highest expression of our values, right? And it's about our why, understanding that we serve something bigger than ourselves. So good afternoon, General Poppy, Admiral Denman, Command Sergeant Major Barreto, all of our distinguished guests and honorees. It's a great day here at Fort Sam Houston, a military city, USA, and I notice some of you are staying here. That's great. You're going to be part of a wonderful community. You won't find a city that is friendlier indeed to our military veterans. These 6 great Americans and their families today, I want to thank you for your distinguished service to our Army and our grateful nation. Chaplain Akers, thank you very much for that invocation. And of course, to our own 323rd Army Band, Fort Sam's own, thank you for always giving dignity to every event that you participate in. You set the tone for all of these historic ceremonies and celebrations for our Army. We join today to express our pride in serving with our retirees, to celebrate your contributions and accomplishments, and most of all, to thank you for making the military your calling. I want to thank you also for allowing me the privilege and honor of participating in your ceremony. It means a lot to me because you're all heroes to me. You know, there would be no General Bagby if there were not great NCOs and great leaders who have helped me along the way. So I want to thank you for your dedicated service to the nation and the American people. And most, if not all of you, have spent the better part of your lives serving in the Army. And now you move on from active duty and join the ranks of our honored veterans. And as was said earlier, you represent nearly 160 years of collective experience, numerous deployments across the globe. Just think about all the lives that you've touched, your exemplary leadership, professional knowledge, and mentorship. Leave an Army that is more resilient, better trained, and better to face the challenges that come before us. And as we all have seen, there's a lot going on in the world, and the world remains a dangerous place. So we rely on folks who are battle-tested, who are reliable, who are honorable to serve our nation and keep us all better trained and ready. And what I see about you, what I notice is the diversity of backgrounds. That is our strength. That is what is unique about our Army. But yet you come together to further the Army's mission to protect our nation. You've lived the warrior ethos, to always place the mission first, never accept defeat, never quit, and never leave a fallen comrade. And for that, we owe you an enormous debt of gratitude, because you represent, frankly, less than 1% of Americans who have served and have sacrificed in those years of service. It's not just the what you did, but how you did it. Whether it was, as was said, missing anniversaries, births, graduations, you still answered the nation's call. However, we know that no one is successful all by themselves, and you're not the only ones who have sacrificed. We also owe a debt of gratitude to your families, your loved ones, your friends, and those who kept your mind sharp, kept your motivation high, took care of all the little distractions at home, and allowed you to stand ready to defend our nation. Whether at home or abroad, your family's unconditional love, selfless service, and support are as responsible for your success as all of the time that you spend training and the months and years you spent deployed. So to the families with us today, thank you for being the anchor and the foundation and support that your soldier needed to remain vigilant and in the fight. So let's give our family members a round of applause. Now, former Secretary of the Treasury, Jack Lew, had a statement. He said, "I think there's no higher calling in terms of a career than public service, which is a chance to make a difference in people's lives and to improve the world." And that is exactly what each of you and your families have done. You've been irreplaceable change makers because of your desire to serve your nation and to the soldier to your left and right? Because that's really why we fight. It's for our comrades. So I want to thank you for the time you've devoted to the United States Army. Your years of sacrifice have ensured that future generations will be able to enjoy the freedom that you fought to protect. I commend you for your loyal service and extend my heartfelt congratulations and sincere appreciation for all that you've done for our great nation. Now, adding to that, this is not the end, right? This is simply the beginning. And one of the things that I want to personally implore you to do is take the knowledge and the skills that you've gained in a lifetime of military service and go out in your communities and be leaders of change in those communities, because often what is lacking is that leadership that we bring. They don't teach it in corporate America. It's hard won and it's hard fought, and I implore you to go out and be leaders in those communities. The world needs you. The world needs to know. They need to be able to use what you know. So it has been my distinct privilege to stand here before you today, humbled by your collective contributions, and be among the first to wish you the very best as you transition into this next chapter of your life. Thank you, and I wish you all the best. Army strong.
Ladies and gentlemen, please remain seated for the playing of Old Soldiers Never Die and Old Ensign.
Roll call. Colonel Alex Arthur McCullough Jr.
Here, Sergeant.
Colonel Clinton C. Seabold.
Here, Sergeant.
Captain Ashika Marie Gonzalez.
Here, Sergeant.
First Sergeant Juan Antonio Trevino.
Here, Sergeant.
Master Sergeant Brittany Peachy.
Here, Sergeant.
Sergeant First Class Gregory Phillips.
Here, Sergeant.
Roll call complete.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the playing of the Army song. The words are printed on the last page of your program. We invite you to sing along.